With a pretty dry week 2 college football slate on the horizon, Jason and I will discuss what games you can turn to for some potential drama and or just great games to watch that might get overlooked. We're going to talk about Bill Belichick and what he recently did that's catching a lot of buzz. Lou Holtz sparking some beef again with Ryan Day in Ohio State. We'll get into that and so much more. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll catch you guys all in the studio. Hey guys, welcome in to the studio. Glad to have you. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to hang out with us a little bit here. So, like I said in the intro, we got a pretty, on first glance, it looks like a pretty dry week. Way too slate. But whenever you really look into it, it's just a lot of unranked games with high potential. So, when you first look at it, it doesn't look like that great of a slate. Down the stretch, you know, we might be looking back and looking at this slate and saying, okay, it really wasn't that bad. But because there are some pretty good unranked matchups, some rivalries, some interesting games that have very high potential and some high stakes for certain coaches. These are some big games these are big games for certain coaches, particularly Brent Pry, but we'll get into that later on. So we're gonna start off with Baylor versus SMU. Pretty overlooked game. SMU's heavily favored, almost 70% to win this game. But I think one thing that's notable is Baylor has played a real football team. SMU has not. This is SMU's first actual game, so we don't know where SMU sits. I mean, SMU could be a bottom of the barrel team. Obviously, we don't expect them to be, given how they were in the playoff last year. Obviously, they went to Penn State and got thrashed. But a very similar SMU team this year compared to last year, so we're expecting big things. But whenever a team, that first initial game for teams can be rough sometimes, and Baylor has already got that out of the way. So I think that this game will be a little closer. Personally, I think SMU will win, but I think it'll be a little closer than what, you know, the analysts and what is expected of SMU.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like Baylor has been tested. I think it is going to be a very, very competitive game the whole way through. SMU is ranked. Like you said, this is what we would say their first game. I want to say they played, was it East Texas or someone along that line?
Yeah, something very, very similar to that, yeah.
Yeah, they won 42-13. I don't really think there was much to go. I will say it is worth to note though that Baylor looked good. I mean, their quarterback had 3 touchdowns in that loss against Auburn, which is still a stellar performance for him. I mean, he was 27 for 48. Overall, not bad. They did have a receiver that had over 100 or 134 yards. I definitely think they have a good chance. But I still do think it's just similar as you that SMU is going to pull this one out.
Yeah, I just want to briefly cover Cole Wilson. I'm looking at his ESPN picture for the Baylor Bears, and dude, his hair in that picture, oh my gosh, it's a funny looking I don't know, like provides like a backdrop almost with his hair, the way it's like. Well, the way it's sitting in the picture, just I don't know, but yeah, I mean, Baylor's quarterback, was Sawyer Robinson, over 400 yards on the game against Auburn. Not a bad performance. I mean, no picks. Generally speaking, on paper, is a fantastic performance. But obviously they didn't win, and that's what matters. I think. It's also important to note this is a noon game, so I'm not saying that I'm not saying SMU has a, you know, hostile environment to begin with, but these noon games can turn into very, very overlook close games. I mean, this is a game where you're going to put on, it's going to come on after college game day. You're going to walk away, make a sandwich, go outside, I don't know, do something, come back in, and you're going to look and it's going to be like a 21-21 ball game. And that's just how these noon games shape up. So I think this game has high potential. I think this is a game that Dave Aranda and Baylor need more than SMU. So I think we're going to see a more desperate Baylor team than we are SMU. I do think SMU wins it. SMU has the more talented roster, but I would not be surprised if Baylor walked out of the SMU with a victory.
Correct. And I mean, I feel like it's crazy how fast we switched up on Baylor from last week. I mean, we were toting them pretty high against Auburn, and then they came out and just kind of let us down.
And
I think, go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't know. It's I wouldn't. I'm not pinning. How do I say this? I guess I just figured Dave Aranda would, not that he didn't have his team ready to play. I mean, it wasn't like they got destroyed, but I just figured they had so much momentum at the end of last year. I figured Dave Aranda would have done a better job of keeping that into the beginning of this season. You're at home. I believe it was a night game. It was Friday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll pull that up.
I think it was a Friday night game, which obviously would have been a night. So you have your hostile environment. It's the first game of the season. You have all that preseason hype. I feel like everything was trending in Baylor's favor, but they lost. So I don't know. There's a lot of question marks on the Baylor Bears. I don't think they're a bad football team, but granted, that was the first game of the season. I don't know. Personally, I expected more.
Me too. I completely agree, especially from the defensive perspective. That was something that I felt was really highly touted going into that game, and it was sort of a letdown. I was kind of disappointed in the way that they played.
Yeah. Illinois versus Duke. That's another noon slate game at Duke. The matchup predictor is saying 50% with a very, very slight advantage in Duke's favor. I'm going to just go ahead and take a hot take. I think Illinois wins this game by a lot. I
definitely agree with that.
I don't think that Duke has a good football team. I mean, this is a team that I saw struggling against Elon last week. And honestly, a team that lives in close matchups. Like Manny Diaz, I'm not saying he's a bad coach. He's a great coach. I think a better coordinator than a head coach, personally. But I'm not saying he's a bad head coach. His team, they all last year, they just seemed to live in that danger zone where you're like, are they going to lose? Or are they going to squeak this out? And that goes for games where they should have blown the team out. And that goes for teams that they probably shouldn't even have been in the game to begin with. So there's no consistency with a Manny Diaz Duke team. There is consistency with a Brett Bielema Illinois team. And this is an 11th ranked team in Illinois that had a good football team last year. They still have Altmaier. I mean, they did lose some pieces, but this is still a good football team in Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois, I definitely agree. Illinois is going to have, in my opinion, this is going to be a big win for them. I'm kind of surprised to see that, and it actually looks like on ESPN here, the matchup predictor it gives Duke the edge just slightly, and that kind of surprises me because I watching them struggle against Elon last week was crazy. Especially for them to come out and then them to have that, you know what I mean? Them giving that edge slightly. I don't see where they have that edge, but maybe I'm not seeing something. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and like before everyone comes at us, obviously I know Duke won that game against Elon 45-17, but it was a slow start. I looked up and it was 10-10 ball game, like going towards the halfway through the second quarter. You can't do that with a team like Illinois.
No, not at all.
I mean, if you're sleepwalking, if you're Duke sleepwalking against Notre Dame, if you're Duke sleepwalking against Illinois, you're gonna open your eyes and you're gonna be down 21 points. So
Yeah.
it's a different ball game for Duke. I think Duke is gonna. I don't know. I think that they're gonna Illinois is gonna get the best of them. But hey, I mean that's why we play the games, I guess. Um, Iowa and Iowa State, and this is I would say one of my top three for the weekend. I love this game every year. It does not matter if these teams are terrible. This is always a fantastic game. Every single
Yeah.
year,
It's
this
one of
game's
those.
awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those nice rival games. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, Iowa State is heavily favored in this game.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know what the spread is, but you probably get it. Minus 3.5.
3.5. Yeah, three and a
Okay,
half.
but they are heavily favored on the ESPN predictor. They're giving Iowa just a 34% chance to win. I think personally it's a little low. I would go with this ESPN predictor. I would take this predictor and swap it with the Duke game. I think this game has a chance to be more 50-50 than the Duke and Illinois game. I
Yeah,
think
me too.
personally.
Me too. I completely agree with that. I do think I do give the edge to Iowa State. I think that they will come out on top. But I agree though. I feel like this is going to be a closer game and a better game than what we're going to get to watch with Duke. Um, just because I really Duke's like I said, that slow start is what's really holding them back. I feel that for me anyway, personally. That's why I'm saying that. I just going 10-10 to halftime with Elon is very interesting to say the least. But yeah, this Iowa State team, I mean, they look pretty good. And not to mention, too, just looking at the stats from last week and stuff, the quarterback from Iowa had 44 yards passing.
Yes, they are it was not good
Now,
passing the
they made
football.
up for it. The running back made up for it. He had 11 carries and 122 yards. That's big. I mean, that's a crazy,
That is,
crazy one there.
but
But
if you look on the flip side, you have is it Rocco? I think his name is Rocco Beck. Um,
yes.
very very talented, good quarterback from Iowa State, and I think he's part of the reason why I'm so high on Iowa State because I mean every time I watch him play, I'm like that guy that guy can sling it. 461 passing yards last week. I get it. They're playing I think South Dakota, so it's not it's as
Yeah,
expected. But
correct.
461 yards is 461 yards. I mean, that's going across football field 4 times, 4.5 times.
Yeah, yeah. And I
So
mean, this is also the same Iowa State team that we saw beat Kansas State um week one. And I mean, he had 183 yards there. Now his completion percentage was 50%. I mean, it wasn't the best, but this guy also has 5 touchdowns on the year, and he's played 2 games and has no picks. He's taking care of the ball very well. I will say the only thing that kind of makes me nervous is he did take 4 sacks against Kansas State. Now I'm kind of overlooking last week's game. I don't really think that South Dakota is a big name to talk about. But with Kansas State, I mean, I feel like it's a closer comparison to talk about with the Iowa. So I feel I feel still pretty confident though. I mean, he did throw 2 touchdowns against Kansas State, and I think he's definitely more than capable of doing the same with Iowa.
yeah, that'll definitely be a really good matchup to keep an eye on there. One of your noon slates that
Yep.
I think people should be watching. I want to go over to I think this is the last noon slate we'll talk about. It's Virginia at NC State, and I think this game is very very big for both teams. Not only because it's the ACC open like that opens up the ACC play for both teams, but both of these teams, NC State last year, I remember all the hype around NC State. They were ranked like, oh man, what were they ranked when they played Tennessee last year? And they got destroyed. I mean, just blown to smithereens by Tennessee. And I think NC State is one of those teams where they, I feel like they're always praised more than what they should be. I don't know why. It
Yeah.
just seems like you'll blink your eyes and they're ranked 14th, and you're like, how? And then you look at their schedule and you're like, oh, they haven't played anybody. And then they play one team, you start to get your hopes up a little bit. They play a team, they get destroyed. So I think early on, I think this Virginia team is actually, I'm picking Virginia to win. I think Virginia is actually the better team. I watched NC State struggle against East Carolina last week at home. I think it was. I can't remember if it was at East Carolina or not, actually. I might have that backwards. It might have been at East Carolina. No, it was home. Home against
It
East
was a home
Carolina.
game. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
And
I personally just think that I, I think that Virginia is going to come in here. I'm not saying they're gonna dominate this game, but I think they're gonna wear NC State down. I think that they have the better football team this year. Virginia's been kind of trending in the right direction late as of lately, and I think this is gonna be a big win for them early in the year.
correct. Yeah. And I mean, that Virginia team, I also am going to give the edge to. I do think Virginia is also going to win that game. Um, that ECU team's really not that good. Especially for them to be struggling against them and winning 24-17 is not a good look. Now I know there's first game of the year, slow starts, very realistic possibility, but I still just feel like Virginia has too much talent for them to, lose this game coming up at NC State. Go to NC State and lose, I just feel like isn't in the cards for Virginia.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I'll say it like this: I wouldn't be surprised if NC State finds a way, because it is the opening game in ACC play for
Yeah.
both teams. We don't really know what either team has. Maybe we saw week one jitters in NC State. They come out, they throttle Virginia. I mean, that would surprise me, but I'm just saying, I guess, especially so early on, anything can happen. I don't expect that. I think Virginia will win. I think Virginia will take control of this game in the second half. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's why they play the game. We'll find out. I think week 3, week 4 is whenever you kind of start to these teams start to figure out we start to
Yeah,
figure
they
out who
start
they
to
are
come
and
into
where they're
their
going to
own.
trend. Yeah. So
Mhm.
early on, it's so hard to predict these outcomes, especially in matchups like this where we don't know what either team is. They've played nobody. I mean, they're both very evenly matched, but I'm going to give the edge to Virginia. I just think that they had the better football team this year. Um, Moving on to our first 3:30 slate, and I just got to say this game really surprises me, and I think it just kind of shows. Listen, I like Mike Gundy, but it's no secret that Oklahoma State the past 4 years has been trending down. I
Yeah.
I think Mike Gundy is a guy that it's very hard for Oklahoma State to even want to fire, given what he's done for that program. But Oklahoma State has been lackluster the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 years probably. And even whenever they do have a good team, they blow a game where they shouldn't. And I don't know. I'm saying all this because they're giving Oklahoma State just a 6.5% chance to beat the Oregon Ducks. I get it.
Yeah, and the spread's 27.5. I mean,
And that says a lot to me. The fact that you have Oklahoma State is not a peon. I mean, this is a football program that this is a good football program. And the fact that they are giving Oregon that much of an advantage on the spread just tells me everything I need to know with what to expect out of this Oklahoma State. Listen, I don't think Oregon is the same Oregon team they were last year. Matter of fact,
Me either.
I know they're not. But I don't know. The fact that they're giving that much of an advantage over this Oklahoma State team, just are they that bad? I mean,
I don't.
I
It
just
seems like it. It really
I
does, which kind of blows me away because, like you said, Oklahoma State's definitely not like a historical program to be really bad. But I don't think that they stand much of a chance in this game. I don't really think. I don't know if Oregon covers. I'm kind of tough on that, but I definitely think Oregon's going to win this game, and it's not. It's going to be definitive. It's not going to be close.
yeah, I can agree with that. I don't think. I mean, just looking at the last 5 games, Oklahoma State, that was their win last week against Tennessee Martin was their first win in the last 5 games. They lost 4 straight last year. To
And
wrap,
in
yeah,
as I was saying, in that four straight, they got shut out by Colorado.
and they didn't just get shut out; they got destroyed by
Yeah,
Colorado, which says a lot.
52 nothing. Yeah, that's rough. Now, I mean, we have to keep in mind too with the transfer portal and the way things work. I don't know Oklahoma State football in and out. I don't know who they've lost. I don't know who graduated, but
Yeah, but
regardless.
I know what you mean. It's you can't judge the end of one season. That can't relate to the next season directly. I mean, it might have a
Correct.
little bit to do with it, but it's not like this could be a completely different football team than last year. That's just how college football works.
Yep.
It's yeah, just that's why I love it. It's just so crazy. You have one team that's horrible one year, and then they come out, Florida State. They come out and I'm still not very high on Florida State yet, but I mean, just an example of what can happen after such a downward spiral. You can come out the next year and fix it all in one season. Um, Kentucky and Ole Miss. What are your thoughts there?
Let me pull that game up real quick.
I think I don't think Kentucky really stands a chance in this game. I think their best chance is if they can try and figure out something on the ground. But
Yeah.
Ole Miss is one of those teams where they will put up so many yards and so many points, and it's almost like it's almost like in these games you gotta figure out a way to stop them. I mean, you're not going to go
Yeah.
toe to toe with Ole Miss if you in a shootout. A team like Kentucky, they're just not. They
Correct.
need.
I guess
Go ahead, sorry.
I guess what blows me away in this is that the spread is only 8.5. Um,
Wow,
I
really?
Yeah, that's what
Wow,
blows me
yeah,
away more than anything. Um, because of just I feel like Kentucky is outmatched here, and that's kind of bad. But I mean, Kentucky's always been one of those teams in the SEC that they're towards the bottom every year. They're
yeah.
not one that's normally up there with the
They're
big names.
yeah they're a team that like every like 4 years their team has like a gazillion seniors on it, and then they make a run like every 4 years for a really like that year with Benny Snell and all of them. They have like 10 wins, I think. It's like Kentucky's first 10 win season, I think, or something like that. Or maybe it was just Mark.
Yeah,
Maybe it was Mark Stoops, just his first 10 win season. But I thought it was the first 10 win season in Kentucky football history. But that was an old team. I mean, it's like that's I don't know. And Kentucky's gotten kind of lucky with transfers. Granted, I don't think last year. Oh, what was his name? Oh, he was a Georgia transfer. I just cannot think of his name. Brock Vandegrift. I don't think that he was per se that great. He was pretty decent recruit, pretty talented recruit. I don't know. I think kind of too little, too
He never
late.
panned out.
Yeah, too little, too late in his career. He never really got the playing time. Um, and and I don't. That's kind of how Kentucky's been living the past couple of years. Like they've been getting a lot of transfer QBs. They got that transfer out of Will Levis. Um,
Yeah,
I just
the man that he puts mayonnaise in his coffee.
yeah, we can skip over that. That's just nasty. But yeah, I don't know. I guess moral of the story is here. I don't think Kentucky stands a chance. I think this game is going to be. I actually might consider betting on that because I think that Ole Miss is going to win this game by 17 plus. I cannot believe that spread is only 8.5, especially for a 3:30 game. 8 o'clock, I understand. 3:30, I don't know. But then
Yeah,
again, Kentucky. One thing I will say in these, I think it's a little early on, but Kentucky, it's almost like Kentucky circles. They circle one game every year with one of these big
yeah,
teams, and they
and
give
they
that
come
team
out and
a
they just play.
yeah, they give that team a run for everything they have and play lights out. I think it's a little early on for Kentucky to have that game this soon, but
Completely agree. But I mean, it's possible.
yeah, we'll find out. I don't look for Kentucky to hang around too long in that one though. All right, we're gonna go down to Kansas and Missouri, and I wanted to make note of this game because you have two QBs. I think the QB play in this game has the potential to be great. Jalen Daniels, quarterback for Kansas in his 450th year, returning early on in his career, fantastic quarterback. Some would say elite potential. Elite and Kansas football don't ever go together. Kansas
Yeah.
basketball, maybe. Kentucky basketball, maybe. Kentucky football, no. There's just certain football programs that they're basketball programs, they're not football programs. This is one.
Yeah.
But I think I think Missouri will win this game. I think they'll cover the spread 6.5. I would not be surprised if Jalen Daniels makes this a football game. He has that electric ability whenever he's on. I seen him play bad sometimes. So whenever he's on, he's on. When he's bad, it's bad.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's gonna go. It's in Columbia, so Mizzou is always they always have a really good crowd there. I think Missouri is just a little too talented. Um,
Yeah, especially with that transfer quarterback from Penn State. I definitely think that that man was slept on a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think he would have ever taken a starting job from Drew Aller, but he definitely shows signs of being really good. And I think that that potential is there for him. Now, Jalen Daniels, man, I mean, he's played phenomenal this year so far. They haven't really played anyone that was big. I mean, Fresno in week one. Fresno's one of those schools that's really not super great, but he did play extremely well against them, going 18 for 20, 90% completion percentage is phenomenal at any level, especially at college. He had the 3 touchdowns. He did throw the one pick last week against Wagner, but he had 4 touchdowns in that game, went 18 for 25, 72%. He's playing really well. I just don't, like you said, I don't think that they have the talent that Missouri has to win this football game.
yeah, if this was like a Friday night game, at Kansas, I think it would be a closer ball game. Like, I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think this is a game
No.
that has the potential to be a very, very good 3:30 slot game. But
Yes, as
like
long as Jalen Daniels is on, like you said, if he's on, this is a very good and very competitive game. If he's not, then it's kind of gonna be lackluster. And it could get ugly, but I really don't see it getting ugly. I just don't. Like I said, I feel like he's gonna be on. And I think they're gonna stick around in this game for a while. I just do think that Missouri is gonna pull it out.
yeah, no, I agree. I think Eli Drinkwitz does a fantastic job at getting his team prepared for any matchup. I think that he knows Jalen Daniels' potential. I don't think he'll overlook him. So I think this Mizzou team will be ready to play, and I expect a great game in that 3:30 slot. Definitely one not to sleep on. This could be a great game.
I completely agree. I think it is going to be a very great game.
Um, but I mean, hey, could be a blowout. One one game I'm very interested to watch. I don't think it'll be close, but I had to throw it in here just for the fact that of what happened last week. South Florida and Florida. I think I think Florida will command this game. Um,
Me too.
but South Florida showed something last week. I understand
Yeah.
Boise is a shell of its former self. Last year, it's if you take away Ashton Genty, you take away that 2024 Boise State team. But speeding Boise State the way they did is still an impressive performance. And I want to make it known too. Last year, this team gave Alabama all they could handle.
They did, yes. I mean, dude, I like South Florida's play, man. I mean, if anything, like I said, I don't think that they're going to be in this game. Same with you. Um, but if anything, I just hope that I get to see another beautifully ran fake punt. That would make my whole day. They really ran it perfection, but I don't think that they're going to have enough
Yeah, they're gonna
to
have to
win that
do.
game.
They're gonna have to run two fake punts if they want to win this game. But I mean,
You get to.
definitely one to keep an eye on. I don't know, just for the sheer fact of what happened last week against Boise. I Florida's favored by 17 and a half. I honestly fully expect them to cover. So I don't know. One of those games where at any point in time you might look down and go, it's a little closer than what I thought it would be, because you can't. I won't overlook South Florida. They're one of those teams where they're not a pushover. They're always, generally speaking. Now they had some pretty rough years there, but generally speaking, they're a team that you're not going to sleep on. But I whenever you pair them up against a team like Florida,
Correct me.
I don't know.
And if anything, this is a step up from Florida's opponent last week.
Oh my
I
God, yeah. Who
mean,
they play? The was a Long Island
I
to
think so, yes.
Long Island High
I
School
think,
last week. So
yeah, pretty much,
what a
pretty
damn felt
much.
like. Yeah, I don't know. This will.
It's not SEC play, but at least it's better than what it was last week.
Oh my. All right. I kind of rushed into this game because this is one that I've been excited to talk about. Not only because I think it's huge for this person, but I think it has the potential to be the best game of the week. Virginia Tech versus Vanderbilt. Never would I have thought that I was going to say the best game of the week was going to involve Vanderbilt. But this game is massive for Brent Pry. If Brent
It is.
Pry loses this game, Monday morning, he will no longer be the coach of Virginia Tech. I can promise you. Maybe even Sunday morning.
I'm going to say it. I think Vandy is going to win this game.
Really?
I do. I am going to pick Vandy in this game. I think VT is going to come out and really play, but I do think that Vanderbilt is going to come out and win this game.
So I think Vandy has the pieces to win this game. I think it would not surprise me or anybody if Vandy does. Vandy is a very different team as of the past couple years compared to what they basically were forever.
Yeah.
I do think Virginia Tech wins this game personally, just because I think it's a night game at Lane Stadium and it's do or die for Brent Pry. I
Very
think
true.
Brent Pry. I mean, if he ain't sensing that, I don't think he can sense anything. He's got to be feeling it. There is.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think that he would be aware that he is on the hot seat. I mean, there's no question about it. Um, Him, like, I mean, if you look over his last 5 games, he lost. I mean, the South Carolina loss. That South Carolina team is very good. I think it is a very good football team. But then, I mean, if you go back to last year, I mean, he lost to Minnesota. He did beat Virginia, but then he lost to Duke and he lost to Clemson. I mean, losing to Clemson's one thing, losing to Duke, losing to Minnesota, and now you're going to be to South Carolina, and I think this is the end of him at Virginia Tech. I don't really want to say that, but I think Vanderbilt has everything that they can want to win this game, and I think they will.
We'll move on to College Game Day and talk about that one real briefly. Michigan at Oklahoma. Michigan looked pretty shaky in that opening game. New Mexico, they only beat them by 17 at home, and they were struggling a little bit. This is a 15th ranked Michigan team. I understand they have a true freshman playing. I think Bryce Underwood is a baller. I think we obviously know he's very talented. I think he has the chance to really shine. I just don't think it's this week. I don't think that this is his first real game as a Michigan starter. He's going on the road in Norman. I don't think Michigan has what it takes to walk away with a win. I think they have what it takes to go in, keep this game close, take it down to the wire if they play well. I just don't think that they have it in them to steal a win yet.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that Michigan does have quite enough to win this game. Now, I will say it is going to be interesting. I definitely feel that if Michigan is going to win this game, it'll be on the ground, not in the air. Just because of the inexperience from Underwood. But I do think that Oklahoma is just going to have just a bit too much. Now, I know the spread's 5.5. I don't honestly know if Oklahoma wins by that much. I think it very well could be a 3-point game or so for them to win. But I do also see Oklahoma coming out on top here.
I do also want to make a note that Michigan does a fantastic job at winning and sticking around in games that they have no business in winning. For instance, the Ohio State game last year, the USC game last year. I mean, just whenever you count Michigan out and you're like, this team's bad, they have a game against somebody they should, they're picked to lose. They're given basically no chance, and they come out and they play lights out. So I don't see it. I don't see it in this game just because it's so early on the season. This is Bryce Underwood's true first game as a Michigan starter. It's a night game at Oklahoma. Brent Venables knows he needs to win this game. I wouldn't say that he's in no way in a terrible shape in Oklahoma, but Oklahoma, he needs to win this game because this is a team that still has Texas. They still have South Carolina, who, by the way, is rolling, and I think will continue to do so. Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU. And that's, mind you,
it's worth noting that those games are all in a row.
Yeah, I was going to say those are all like up against each other in the back half of the season. So this is a win that Brent Venables needs early on to not only keep that momentum rolling, but honest to God, maybe make a bowl game because I'm not saying Oklahoma is going to be that bad, but I think Texas is a better team. I think South Carolina is a better team. I think LSU is a better team. I think that Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Alabama are all shakeups. I would actually lend the upper hand to Tennessee and Alabama because it's home for them. So if you count both of them, that's 5 losses. I don't think it'll get that bad, but I mean, this is the SEC. You cannot afford to lose games early on. And I think he knows that. I think Oklahoma will be ready to play. I think they'll come out. I do think they'll win. Like you said, if Michigan has any chance, it'll be on the ground. I don't think
Yes.
that they'll be slinging it. And I don't look for this to be a very high scoring game. I think that this will be a 20-17 final. Um, Somewhere in that realm, maybe, I don't know, 24-21, somewhere around there. I don't think that we're going to get anything over that. I think that these two teams, I think this will be a defensive affair. Brent Venables was a defense coordinator at Clemson for all those years. Um, I just, I think that it'll be a low scoring um, game between both teams, but I would give the edge to Oklahoma. So, um, Arizona State versus Mississippi State. Just gonna very briefly touch in on this. Maybe just give our picks. Obviously I'm gonna pick Arizona State to win this game, but I do want to mention that it is at Mississippi State. That's why I circled it, because Arizona State has to travel across the country to Mississippi State, and it's at night. I think that alone gives Mississippi State a chance. If it was the other way around, I would say Arizona State is going to easily handle this team, because I don't think that Arizona State or Mississippi State is that great of a football team. But the fact that it's vice versa and Arizona State has to go all the way to them, I think that alone gives Mississippi State a fighting chance.
Yeah, I definitely think that gives them a chance. But as you said, I feel Arizona has too much for this Mississippi State team. I think they're gonna end up coming out on top there. Especially and especially in the quarterback position. I think that's really where it's gonna separate there. I mean, I could be wrong. But I feel like his being the dual threat that he is at Arizona State, I just feel that he's going to be able to really take control of this game.
I'm Oh man, I don't really know where I want to lean on this. I almost want to pick Mississippi State to win this game. I I
Okay.
I don't. I think Arizona State will win it, and I am gonna pick Arizona State. But this is a game. If you're getting bored of the Michigan Oklahoma game because there's no scoring going
Yep.
on, and maybe you don't get Virginia Tech or Vandy where you live, put this game on. If you want to watch scoring, I'm telling you, this is going to be the game to watch if you want to watch offenses go to work and you want to watch no defense. I can promise you,
Yeah.
this will be your game. This game is going to end. Watch, I'll say this, it'll end like 10-7. I think this game, I personally think this game will end like in the 40s, like 45, 42, whatever.
Would not surprise me.
I think it'll be
These are two
a very high.
these are two very fast-paced offenses that can score a lot of points.
Um,
Would not surprise me in the slightest.
I think the last one we'll briefly touch on is UNLV. Um, actually UCLA at UNLV. I wanted to talk about this one just for the fact that UCLA looked really really bad in their opening game against Utah. I do think that Utah is a pretty good football team this year. So, I having said that, UCLA I think had way higher standards than what they put out. Especially you get the transfer in Nico.
Correct.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I I think UNLV is equally as bad as UCLA. To be honest, UNLV struggled in their first win in a game that I really feel like they shouldn't have. Um,
Right.
this is a team that between their last two, they're 2-0, so they're finding ways to win. But they won 38-31 against Idaho State and 38-21 against Sam Houston. I think that obviously UCLA is better than both of those teams. So you got to think
Yes.
right out of the gate that it's going to be a close game. It's the thing that mind boggles me is the fact that UNLV is getting a 73% chance, or given a 73% chance to win this game. They're giving UCLA basically a 25% chance to pull this one out.
Yeah, and I don't I think this is going to be a Nico redemption game. I don't think that he's going to come out and throw 400 yards, 17 for, 21, 5 touchdowns or anything, but I think that he's definitely going to come out and play a much cleaner game, and a much better game. I do think the UCLA does pull this one out, which I'm kind of blown away that there's a 73% chance for UNLV. Not saying that they can't do it. I do think it'll be a closer game, but I feel that UCLA has the weapons and the talent with Nico to possibly win this. I know I brought up the talent last week when I was talking about Nico and just felt that he was too talented to lose that game. However, I mean, it was his first week in the offense, so I'm willing to ride with him one, give him a chance. And then after this, man, if he drops this one, that's got to be big, especially for
Yeah,
his stock in the future.
and Nico's like one of your favorite players, isn't he?
Yeah, Nico's one of the players that I'm very high on. I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite players, but he's a player that I feel he's just a good football player.
I would only say that because you
I know.
you call him a ball baby last week, didn't you?
Yeah, dude. He likes to whine a lot, but unfortunately, man, he looked good in where was he? Tennessee, right?
Yeah, he was a baller at Tennessee, but it just hasn't
Yeah,
translated yet. Granted, he doesn't have the weapons that he had at Tennessee, but
correct.
I do want to say, I think this game is won or lost by UCLA by their defense.
Yes.
If they can listen, they cannot stop Utah for shit last week. If they can, this is a UNLV team that likes to put up points. So if they can stop UNLV, I think they win this game easily because UNLV's defense is shit too. So if one of these defenses steps up, I think that team wins. I think it'll be UCLA. I'm blown away that ESPN's giving them just a 25% chance to win. Especially whenever they're favored to win in the spread. So I don't quite understand that. I can understand maybe if it's like a 50-50 and they're favored to win by 3, but it is
Right.
whatever. I don't know. I'm not the one that makes all these. I do think that
Yeah.
UCLA wins. I think it'll be a relatively high scoring game, somewhere in low 30s, high 20s. But this is a big game for Dan Mullen as well. This is his first big game as the head football coach at UNLV. This is a team that in recent years has honestly been pretty damn good. So
Yeah.
I would say the expectations are growing. In Las Vegas, I don't
Yeah,
think
I'd
he
say
has
that.
enough. I don't think he has enough to win this game. Well, let me phrase that. I think he does have enough to win this game. I just don't think they do win this game. But I mean, I don't know. I think it could trend either way. Like I said, I think the best defense wins this game.
Yeah, whoever just really powers through there on the defensive side. I can agree with that.
All right, so to wrap it up, I'm going to just go down through our picks, make sure everybody knows your picks, everybody knows my picks. So Baylor versus SMU, who you taking?
I'm taking SMU.
All right, yeah, I'm going to take SMU as well. I just think they had the better football team there, and it's at home. So Illinois versus Duke, I'm going to take Illinois, and I think Illinois will commandingly win that game. I'm sure you're taking Illinois as well.
Yep.
Iowa State, I think we're both taking Iowa State. I think that they just have the better all-around football team in this current
Yeah.
state. I think it has the potential to be a great game. It always is. I just think that Iowa State squeaks it out at the end. Virginia versus North Carolina State. I'm taking Virginia. Who are you taking?
Same here.
I think Virginia has the better football team. Wouldn't surprise me if NC State squeaks this one out. but it's a noon game. I don't think the environment's going to be too much of an issue there. And yeah, I think Virginia gets that done. Obviously, we're both going to take Oregon and Oklahoma State versus Oregon. Not a hard decision there. We're both
No.
going to take Mississippi in the Kentucky game. Like I said, I think the thing that surprises me most about that game is the fact that Ole Miss was only favored by 8.5. I think that game will be much worse than that. I don't think Kentucky has. I know they don't have the offense to keep up with Ole Miss, so I think that game will be out of hand rather quickly. Kansas versus Missouri. I'm gonna take Missouri. It's home.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
home.
gonna go with you.
I think Bo Prabula in his first game looked fantastic. And honestly, whenever he came in last year against Wisconsin for Penn State, even in that moment, you could tell that he kind of had that like Trace McSorley vibe to him. I'm not just saying that because he wore the number 9, but I do think that I don't know. I do think that he has that competitive edge to him. I think that his feet, his scramble ability changes the game for Missouri in this game. I mean, obviously Jalen Daniels can scramble as well, but there's not that much tape on Bo Prabula. I mean, he's only started one game now, so I think Bo Prabula is the difference maker. I think Missouri wins or loses this game based on how he performs. So it'll be interesting. I'm gonna take Missouri. I'm assuming you're probably also taking Missouri.
Yep.
The way you were talking earlier. South Florida versus Florida. Obviously, we're both gonna take Florida in that game. I don't think anyone's.
I just want to see fake punts, man. That's what I'm here for.
If South Florida does 2 or more fake punts, I'll switch my pick to South Florida. Vandy and VT. I'm taking VT. I think it's a massive game for Brent Pry. Huge implications on his future in Virginia Tech. I'm assuming you're gonna take Vandy the way you were talking earlier.
Yep, I'm gonna stick with Vandy. I think that they're gonna go there and they're gonna pull that one out.
Yeah, and that'll be a great game to watch. 7:30 p.m. Make sure you guys tune into that one. That'll be great. Arizona State versus Mississippi State. I'm actually gonna take Mississippi State.
Are you?
I think Arizona State has the better football team, but given how far they have to travel and it's a night environment, I don't think Mississippi State has that crazy of a night environment. Don't get me wrong, but for some reason my gut is just telling me that Mississippi State might have something here. I know I'm gonna come back in. We're gonna do the Sunday show and talk about how much of an idiot I was, but I'm gonna take
go ASU. I think Arizona State's gonna win that one.
All right. UNLV versus UCLA. The way we were talking, I'm assuming we're both gonna take UCLA.
Yep.
I think UCLA has a bounce back game. Like you, I'm giving them one more chance. This game will tell me a lot where UCLA is as a program, because this is a lower tier team. Utah, I think Utah has a very good team this year, especially their defense. So I think that might have had a lot to do. Well, I know that had a lot to do with how Nico and that offense functioned last week. But like I said, I think that game will come down to whoever can make stops is going to end up winning that game.
Correct, yeah. The defense is going to determine who wins that. I completely agree.
A couple of bonus games we'll pick on just because we have very, very similar picks. I'm going to throw in Fresno State at Oregon State, 3:30 game. Minus Oregon State's favored 2.5. Very, very, very evenly matched game. I'm 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 gonna take Oregon State only because it's home. I think it'll be close. I think Fresno's bad this year. I think Oregon State is bad this year. I think this is gonna be a game where you might just want to turn on the TV and maybe turn it right back off because you're not gonna want to watch it. But
Yeah. Wow. You're not wrong. This is
I'm actually gonna reverse
very.
my pick. I'm gonna take Fresno.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, I think I'm gonna take Fresno simply because of their running game.
I think I will. I think I will take Fresno. So we'll both take Fresno on that one. Let's see what else we have here. To look down through to kind of break it up a little bit. Florida International at Penn State. I'm sure you're taking Florida International on that one.
Yeah, get right on that. Just like I'm gonna take Grambling against Ohio too, you know? Um, so we gotta touch on the Michigan Oklahoma too.
Oh yeah, I completely skipped right over that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take Oklahoma. I think
me as well.
Oklahoma.
Same here.
I think Oklahoma has the better team. Michigan's young. I don't think Bryce Underwood in his second collegiate start, especially on the road in a hostile environment, I don't think he. I think you might see some freshman mistakes. I wouldn't put Michigan. I don't think they're outside the realm of winning this game, but just given given where it's at, given where both of these programs are right now, Oklahoma got that transfer out of John Mateer. I think that Oklahoma is in the better position to win this football game. I think they do. Like I said, I think Brent Venables, this is a big game for him. He needs this game, I think, a little more than what Sharon needs this win at Michigan, just given what the rest of the schedule looks like for Brett Venables.
Right.
I'm gonna pick Oklahoma to win this game.
So just another one here to throw out randomly. Obviously, we're gonna take Boise against Eastern Washington, but do they cover the spread? It's 29.
Ooh, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna agree with you. I do not think they will.
I think that I could see them winning that game like 38-10, somewhere in that. You know what? I'm gonna reverse my opinion again. I'm gonna say they do. I'm gonna say they do cover. It's a 9 p.m. game at home. I think Boise State is embarrassed the way they played against South Florida. Um, I think they come out and they beat the absolute shit out of Eastern Washington. I think it'll be a big game. It'll be a bounce back. I'm also
Okay. I mean,
partially
I
taking that
definitely.
to the. Sorry, I mean to cut you off. I was just saying I'm partially taking that too also to change our picks up a little bit, but I do think that Boise will cover. Just looking at the game here, I think they actually will.
Okay, I definitely think obviously they're gonna win. I don't really think that's a question.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think that they will cover. I think that it'll be close, but I don't think they'll cover.
yeah, nothing really else on here. I guess one more I do we can do for cover just to mix things up. West Virginia is only favored by 3.5 points against the Ohio Bobcats. I think that's a pretty crazy stat line or a pretty crazy spread. I mean, not stat line.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely think West Virginia has a very good chance to cover here. Um, Ohio. Now, who did they have on the Rips? That Rutgers, right?
Rutgers, yeah.
Yeah, that was very intriguing to see. I don't think that West Virginia is going to fall apart like Rutgers did. I do think that they will win that game by over 3.5, without a doubt. But I mean, at the same time, you never really know because at Rutgers or Ohio battled the whole way back and only lost by 3 to the two Rutgers at Rutgers. And this game's a home game for Ohio, so they won't have to deal with West Virginia's home stadium there.
Dude, and they're only giving West Virginia a 53% chance to win this game.
Bro, in that stadium in Ohio is
It's
rough.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there. I couldn't even hear myself think in Ohio Stadium. I mean, what is that, Peden Stadium? I mean, that place is electric. Not a place you want to be playing at 4 p.m. on a Saturday, specifically September 6th. I think West Virginia covers. I think West Virginia wins. I don't. Maybe I'm overlooking the Ohio Bobcats. I do think Ohio has a good team, and I actually heard some things in the offseason that Ohio and Toledo were the two best teams in the MAC.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that in MAC play it's different here, but I feel West Virginia is going to have too much for this game to be that close.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure. That's a game. Maybe if you want to bet on that game, I would honestly say between that game and the Ole Miss game, you have a pretty confident 2-leg parlay already.
Yeah, yeah, just kick that parlay off. I think it would be a good one.
All right, before we end this, I just want to real quickly talk about and get your thoughts on Bill Belichick banning his New England his former team scouts from North Carolina practices and facilities and everything.
Yeah, I mean that's crazy that he did that. I don't know if something was said or to
Yeah,
him by
it's
one of his former scouts or people, and he just disagreed and just did not like it. It's his team; he can do what he wants, but I just found that a bit crazy, man. I figured these people, especially if it was some of them that he's worked with for a very long time and had built some very good relationships with. I'm kind of blown away that he wouldn't listen to what they have to say, I guess.
Yeah, and I think the thing that sucks here is the fact that like if this hurts anybody, it just hurts the players. I
Yeah,
mean,
I agree.
because it's gonna, yeah, you ban New England. That's one team. You got 31 other teams, but it's him doing that is gonna like deter other scouts from even wanting to go there. Like,
Oh yeah.
I think that's the issue here is like Belichick is kind of creating a hostile environment in North Carolina. And not the hostile environment you want. Let me just rephrase that.
Yeah, completely. I know what you mean. Yeah, I definitely agree. Though I feel like it is creating that little bit of a hostile environment, and that's not a good look.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I like you said. I'm sure he has his reasons, but
Yeah,
then again, it is Bill Belichick. So this is a dude that honestly, especially in the last year, it has been kind of a different. I feel like a different person, kind of. Um,
I agree. Yeah, man.
I don't know. I'm not trying to bash him or anything. I still think he's obviously an elite coach. You can't take that away from the guy and everything. But I just a little confused by his tactics down there. I don't know. Like I said, nobody knows what the reasoning is. I don't know. I just I think it sucks for the players though because that's who it's going to really affect.
Definitely agree, man. It's gonna be that's a hard thing that's a hard one to do there.
Um, yeah. Before we hop off here, I just want to say that, or I just want to ask what your opinion was on Lou Holtz, just because you're an Ohio State fan. Lou Holtz stirring the pot again. 88-year-old Lou Holtz coming out, grabbing the spoon, stirring up some drama.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say he coming out again 2 years later. Ohio State wins the national title last year. Lou Holtz comes out again and says Ohio does not have a good team this year. So I don't know.
Lou, buddy, I feel like you might be getting a little old on us. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ohio State. But I mean, the last time he ran his mouth, he kind of came out and got exactly what he was against. Said wasn't gonna happen. So I don't really hold what he's saying to such a high standard. I feel like it's just a mental game with him at this point. I don't really know what he's trying to do here or say, considering, that's not even a game that Ohio needs to worry about right now is Notre Dame. Like, that's way future. If, you know what I mean? There's a lot of ifs that have to happen to even get there on both sides.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, the last time he came out and said this was whenever Ohio State went to Notre Dame and played and then ended up beating them. And
yeah,
I remember Ryan Day in his post-game interview, you could tell it must have got to him a little bit because that's the first thing he mentioned.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and Ryan Day clearly doesn't forget.
No. And honest to God, Ryan Day does not get the credit he deserves. I think if you look at Ryan Day as a whole from a head coaching position, I mean, pretty damn good. So
yes. As an Ohio fan, I'm very rough on Ryan Day. He's got to beat Michigan. I can't keep seeing that.
Well, yeah, that's. I think that's the elephant in the room for everybody. I mean, that's a sore spot for every Ohio State fan. That's the one game of the year you want to win, and he's having issues winning it. So I mean, even it's crazy that even though they won the national title and his record is so insane that you do still have a lot of fans upset with the fact that they're losing to Michigan.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the biggest game of the year, regular season wise.
Yeah, no, probably gonna wrap her up there. We'll come back in Sunday and see. I'm feeling a lot more confident with these picks than I did in week 1. Not that we did bad. Like I said, I think we went 12-5 and 11-5, but
yeah, a lot less drama this week.
Yeah, I feel like most of these games, this would be a very good week if you want to cook up a parlay, because I feel like most of these games they're gonna have good enough betting odds that you're gonna make some money. But
and not only that, too, just to keep it interesting, man, because that, like we talked about, there's not a lot of ranked matchups this week, so definitely not a bad idea just to keep yourself interested.
Yeah, for sure. I think my game of the week, I'm gonna give it to Vandy and Virginia Tech. I think that'll be the best game of the week. Just throwing it out right now. I think that I understand why Gameday went to Oklahoma, but I think Vandy and Virginia Tech will be the talk come Sunday, just because I think it carries the most drama. If Vandy wins that game, that's a 2-win Vandy team on the road at VT in a hostile environment. We're going to start talking about Vandy a little more. They might dabble into the rankings. And if VT loses, I think we'll be talking about potential landing spots for Brent Pry. So, a lot going on there. But yeah, we'll come in Sunday. We'll see how we did. And we'll talk with you guys all then. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hanging out with us. And we'll see you in the next one.